NFL fans, and welcome to Four Down Territory. I am your host, Luke Easterling, editor of DraftWire and BucksWire at USA Today Sports Media Group. I am joined by my good friend, the editor of Touchdown Wire, Doug Farrar, the author of The Genius of Desperation, a great look at the innovation and the history of the NFL. Yep, there it is back there. Doug, excited to do this show, man. Excited to break down the NFL, the big storylines every week with you. We have to start with the officiating this week. It's so bad, but what can the NFL do to fix it moving forward?
There are several things the NFL needs to do with a quickness. First of all, they need to make sure that the calls from crew to crew are more consistent. There's one crew that's called 9 roughing the passer penalties this year. There's one that's called none. That is a lack of consistency by a lack of oversight. They need to be more publicly accountable when calls are blown, as happened in the Steelers-Bears game, where they privately acknowledge. You have to publicly acknowledge. I know you want to talk about points of emphasis, so I'll leave that to you, but it is a big problem where all of a sudden penalties get overcooked because a couple of grumpy owners decide that all of a sudden this is a huge thing. And the rules need to be more defined. You go back to that Cassius Marsh taunting penalty where Tony Corrente said, I believe that rose to the level of taunting. Well, Tony, facts don't care about your feelings. Was it taunting or was it not? Was it delay of game? Yeah, it probably was. Was it taunting? We still don't know. So, yeah, a lot of stuff for the NFL to get right there.
Yeah, Doug, I mean, honestly, your posture right now is taunting me. I feel offended, actually, by your posture right now.
Most of what I do in my life rises to the level of taunting, so I wouldn't be surprised.
That's fair. I mean, and just what you said, the vagueness, the emphasis that's not specified. I think the biggest problem, honestly, with all this is that the biggest issues with the officiating are by design. They're on purpose. This is stuff the NFL wanted them to do, and now they're doing it, and it's ruining everything, and they need to fix that sooner than later. Now, moving on to our second point, we saw a lot of upsets over the last few weeks. Which team that was upset in Week 10 should be the most worried moving forward?
I think you go back to Thursday night, the Ravens losing to the Dolphins, and a couple of things really stood out to me. The Dolphins ran a ton of cover zero. No high safety, man across, bring the house, but drop linebackers and just confuse the picture, muddy the picture for Lamar Jackson. Lamar's improved exponentially as a passer this year, but he's still kind of a see-it-and-throw-it guy. He's still working to get the whole picture straight. That's common among young quarterbacks. That's not an indictment of Lamar. That's one thing. So he's going to see more cover zero and more weird stuff out of that as the season goes on. Second thing, Baltimore secondary, and this showed against the Miami passing attack that really hasn't done anything all year. Their secondary, specifically their deep coverage, is a huge problem, and it's been a huge problem all year. You can get away with that in the regular season to a point. You get in the playoffs, that can put you at one and done. And that's been a problem for the Ravens of late, so that's something they got to fix.
Yeah, I'm going to move to the NFC. It's kind of a coin flip between the Bucs and the Cardinals, I feel like. I'm going to go Arizona because I think the problems we saw against Carolina weren't really, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins problems. They're going to blame it on the fact that those guys weren't in that game, but I see an offensive line that's struggling. That means the running game is struggling. That defense is not playing like it did over the first half of the season that helped them get to that undefeated record. I think that division is the toughest in football, and I think that's the biggest reason why the Cardinals, with these issues that they're having on their own, should be the most worried moving forward.
Not worried about Kyler when he comes back, how much he defines that offense. I think it'll be fine. The defense has regressed in the last couple of weeks. That is a big problem for them.
Now, Doug, the AFC picture has been wide open all year because of really what the Chiefs have struggled to do. But who's the best team in the AFC right now?
As it stands right now, and this could change every week, is the Tennessee Titans. They have one of the NFL's best defenses. They've beaten 7 2020 playoff teams already, including a 5-game winning streak against those teams, which is kind of nuts. They won 6 in a row. They have the AFC's best record at 8-2. To a point, your record is you are what your record says you are, as Bill Parcells said. They may get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs, and at this point, that could be the difference between a Super Bowl run and not. I think without Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill has some stuff to figure out. But as it stands right now, although I'm close to getting on your bandwagon based on what I saw on Sunday, but right now I'd say it's the Titans.
Yeah, man, I'm going to circle the wagons with the Bills here. I think, it may sound blasphemous after losing to the Jaguars, and I know they've already lost to the Titans this year, but, I think they're still the most complete team on both sides of the ball. Josh Allen is a dynamic playmaker, the game's most important position. That defense has given up 12 points a game over the last 3 weeks. If they get in the playoffs and they play the Titans again, I'm betting on a much different result than what we saw a few weeks ago.
What we saw against the Jets, and yes, it was the Jets, the Bills got a lot more creative with their run game to transcend their bad offensive line. If they continue that, and they have by far the best defense in the NFL, Josh Allen still slinging it, yeah, they're going to be a tough out no matter who they face.
Now to wrap up, Doug, we finally got the performance that we're used to with Patrick Mahomes on Sunday night, right? That's the guy we're used to seeing. Is he really back, or was it more about what the Raiders did and didn't do to defend him?
Not to go on both sides here, Luke, but I think the answer is yes. I think it was a better overall plan. I think there were things schemed open for Mahomes, and I think Mahomes played more under control. A lot of short passes early, bring the defense down, and then start just, plastering the air with footballs, and that's kind of what happened. I would also say that the Raiders, defensive coordinator Gus Bradley, Gus is going to play cover 3, single high, zone across, no matter where he goes. Doesn't matter. Chiefs know that. So it was underneath. We'll just find the holes in the zone and exploit them. Gus didn't adjust. Other teams will. When they play the Cowboys, with Dan Quinn as their DC, Dan's going to scheme for opponent. And teams this year with the Chiefs, it's 2 safeties, they're going to run the ball, which they don't. Wait Mahomes out. He gets frustrated. Bad things happen. So am I ready to say that Mahomes is back? Not until he goes against teams that don't have game plans that are that one-dimensional.
Yeah, I think I agree with that to a point. I also just think that the great players, really regardless of sport, they never really leave. And I think Patrick Mahomes is one of those guys. Everybody has rough patches, up and down slumps here and there. But I think he's way closer to the guy we saw Sunday night than the guy we've seen too often so far this season. I think he gets figured out. I think he gets it figured out, and I think moving forward, we see much more of what we saw Sunday night from Patrick Mahomes. That'll do it for us, NFL fans. Thanks so much for watching. For Doug Farrar, I'm Luke Easterling, and we'll see you next time.